Some of you asked me to cover this game, Evil West, and also I want to give you my take on the Calisto Protocol situation and on Unreal Engine in general. So here on the PC, Evil West is performing well. At least at the beginning of the game and until now, I am getting 120 rock solid for black frame insertion, and I am using DLSS quality. All the settings are maxed out except the shadows in high, and it looks good. The game looks good. It's blurry. It's still blurry, TAA blurry. I don't understand why most of the Unreal Engine games with DLSS, they just look blurry. And you do have a sharpness, a slider that you can increase, but the blurriness is still there. It's like the aliasing is so much that they need to use so much anti-aliasing that makes the picture blurry. It's like the quality of the assets, the way these alpha textures. I am not a game developer. I don't know exactly why. But the anti-aliasing needs to be so aggressive on these Unreal Engine games that it makes the game look blurry. And that's a huge problem for me, because you get a high-end gaming PC to get 4K quality and all of that, and you want sharpness, you want a more detailed character. This looks blurry. This is 4K DLSS, it looks blurry. And if I turn off DLSS, it still looks blurry. And you have forced TAA, you don't have a way to turn it off. So also the game stutters, as most, almost every game on Unreal Engine 4 game, they stutter. Every single time you see something new, it will stutter. Here, for example, I died one time because I'm playing the game on the hardest difficulty. So I died, so I already saw some of the assets. So it might not stutter now, but it is a problem on Calisto Protocol, like big time. It's just unplayable. So stuttering is something that is unacceptable, man. That should not pass the quality control. Should not pass the quality control because it makes the game unplayable. It doesn't matter all the ray tracing, it doesn't matter anything else if the game just stops working. So the other thing is the HDR. So the HDR on that Calisto Protocol has the same black level rays as every single HDR, washed out HDR game, man. It's the same fine-tuned dark areas, minus 16. I saw the gaming tech video. The same thing. So yeah, fortunately we can fix that. So that's not a big issue. But why they keep using the same tools and having the same issues again and again. Use a different tool then. I'm starting to stop liking Unreal Engine because every game that comes out with Unreal Engine has the same problem. I get it. Developing an in-house engine, it has to be extremely expensive and unrealistic, and maybe the games will take a lot longer, and I think that they take long enough already to develop. They take like 5-6 years sometimes. But man, if I have to wait to get a good game, I much rather do that. That keep playing these blurry games that stutter all over the place, that have broken HDR. It's just a mess. And I'm dying here again and again. That's what happens when you play on the maximum difficulty. So yeah, man, I like this game, by the way. I do like it, and I'm going to play it for sure. Especially because the performance is good. So if the game looks blurry, but it performs like this, that's okay. I'm good with that. But sometimes you see the games performing like crap and looking even worse. So that's what is unacceptable to me. But when the games perform well, I forgive them. I will give it a try. So yeah, that's my take in general with this Calisto Protocol situation. It's just a train wreck. I'm not gonna buy that game, not at all. I would not play that game for free. The performance is so important, man. If the performance is bad, nothing else matters. So yeah, also I don't know why this game is running on the consoles at 1080p 60, because the game, at least here on the PC, is not demanding at all. It's not demanding at all. Let me show you the settings I'm using here. These are 4K, Epic, everything on Epic but the shadows, and DLSS quality, sharpness 50%, and it's performing at 120 all the time. So I don't know why on the consoles it's looking so blurry, and at 1080p I don't know why. It shouldn't be 1080p, at least 1440p. It should play as 1440p, 60 frames. But go figure. I do love every time I can use black from insertion, I'm gonna play the game. Like, I'm excited to play the game, even when the game is not very sharp. It looks blurry, but in motion, it's just fantastic. It's perfect because of that OLED Motion Pro High. It's just fantastic. I love it. And with the settings, let me show you the settings before I end the video. So I show you the settings before for this game. I am using the SDR HDR trick. So just turn on HDR in Windows, max out the slider. Then here, just OLED Motion Pro High. And then the rest of the settings, let me show you. So we come here to, make sure you see it. We come here to brightness, screen brightness 41, HDR tone mapping off, black level same full as on the GPU is full, and then we just change this 111311. We change the mastering peak to 540 and the max CLL to 540, and the reason is by having that SDR HDR slider on Windows max out, that makes the games push 498. So the max CLL is about 500 nits. So 540, that's perfect. And let me show you the rest of the settings on the color settings, just as a reminder. Auto detect, color depth 55, warm 50. That's for every single game. That's it. That's what I'm using, and it does make a difference. So for example, here, I remember getting to this part already, and I know these spiders here on this wall are amazing. Like when you see the spiders moving on the wall, because I got to this part already, but it didn't save for some reason last time I was playing. So you see these spiders moving, and they are so perfect in motions. This is a great showcase for BFI, because you see the spiders moving on the screen, and they are perfect. So if you eye track the spiders, they look no blur, like absolutely perfect. So that's awesome. But still, the DLSS is still not. It doesn't look very sharp. I've seen DLSS games in balance that look better than this, look more sharper. For example, another Unreal Engine 4 game that has DLSS now, Kena. Kena DLSS balance looks a little bit better than this DLSS quality in this game. So it definitely depends on the developers and the work that they do. And Unreal Engine 4 and 5 is going to be here for a long time. And a lot of games, to not say most of them, are going to use the engine. But I am a big fan of in-house engines, man. For example, this game, Elix, that I show you, that looks very sharp without anti-aliasing, is okay. You don't see shimmering all over the place. It looks so sharp, and then you can use SMAA at 4K, and it's fantastic. If you get very close to a screen, yes, you can see some aliasing, but it is so sharp and awesome. And that's an in-house engine, and that's an indie developer. That's a small developer, Elix, and they have a lot of issues, but that engine looks good. I like that. Even if you're an indie developer, create your own engine and have your own problems, but not the same problems that every single Unreal Engine 4 game has. And yeah, the other thing is that Calisto Protocol trying to push ray tracing and all of that. The CPU utilization is just insane, like just unacceptable. Like on a Ryzen 5 3600 on that Digital Foundry video, it was not even able to go over 40 frames per second. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's unacceptable, because that Ryzen 5 3600, I mean, you should be getting 100 frames with that. It's insane. So yeah, that this ray tracing pushing, the only thing that's good for is for upscaling techniques. So the games that support ray tracing, they have DLSS and frame generation in the future and all of that, and that's great. That's the only thing why I like the ray tracing. So yeah, if I get a 4090, I turn on ray tracing, I can get 120 frames at true 4K, or maybe even 4K with DLSS quality. Rock solid 120 frames. Yeah, I would use it. I'm okay with that. But if I cannot get that performance, I'm just turning it off completely. So yeah, let me know what's your take on that situation. Do you like Unreal Engine? I'm not a big fan of it, man. Don't like it. I don't like it. The only game comes to my mind that I like how it looks is Batman Arkham Knight. The anti-aliasing is just broken. Without anti-aliasing, you see shimmering. The game stutters. It's just not good. It looks good, but it doesn't perform as good as it should. And at the release, it was just a mess at the release date. Nowadays, I can get it working at 100 without drops for black frame insertion, but 120 it drops a little bit. So it doesn't really stutter anymore. It doesn't stutter anymore, but it does drop, and it's because of the CPU, I believe. So that's insane. That's like an Unreal Engine 3 game. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about this game. I'm not gonna get that Calisto Protocol. It's just I'm not supporting that crap. I would not play that for free. For me, performance is the most important thing. This game doesn't look spectacular, but it is performing spectacular. I'm gonna play it. I like the gameplay. I love it, actually. It's very fun. Very fun, the gameplay. I'm liking it a lot. It's kind of remnant from the Ashes, but with more focus on the combat system. And I love that. So I will play the game. And yeah, it looks a little bit blurry, but it performs very well. So that's good enough for me. Let me know if you have any questions.